Hello everyone, my name is Kaseem. Welcome to the $1 Million Challenge. So in today's video, we are going to do a reaction to Tesla's earnings call. Now, I'm doing this because I like to listen to Tesla's earnings call. And what I'm going to do for the next couple of videos, I'm going to break that earnings call down into smaller chunks and just react to it. Listen to a small part of it, comment on it, talk about my opinions on the things that they talked about. And luckily, in today's call, in what we're going to talk about today, Elon is on there giving his opinion about the next 6 to 5 years of Tesla. And, let's jump right into today's video. So what we're going to do now is we are going to get into the video. This is a small part of it. This is roughly about 11 minutes. And we're going to just talk over what Elon is talking about I'm going to add my opinion and comments to it. This is one of my favorite way to get to understand what the company is doing. And, what I do on this channel, I just bring to you things that I'm doing financially, that helps bring value to my life. And, by bringing those content to you guys, hopefully it brings some sort of value to your life as well. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Let's get it started here. We should be starting shortly.
Welcome to Tesla's fourth quarter 2021 Q&A webcast.
Okay.
My name is Martin Vieca, Senior Director of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Zachary Kirkhorn, and a number of other executives.
Okay.
Our Q4 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC.
Okay.
During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. But before we jump into Q&A, Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Thanks, Martin. So
now, this call that Elon is jumping on, I think the first call in like 1 or 2, because he said he's not going to participate in earnings call anymore. So it's like a rare occasion that we have him on and he's going to tell us about the company.
just to recap, 2021, it was a breakthrough year for Tesla and for electric vehicles in general.
Really
and while
was.
we battled, and everyone did, with supply chain challenges through the year, we managed to grow our volumes by nearly 90% last year.
It did.
This level of growth didn't happen by coincidence. It was a result of ingenuity and hard work across multiple teams throughout the company.
Right.
Additionally, we reached the highest operating margin in the industry in the last widely reported quarter.
That is an amazing thing right there. They hit the highest operating margin in the history of, car companies. Tesla is making margins like a freaking tech company right here.
At over 14% GAAP operating margin.
Nice.
Lastly, thanks to $5.5 billion of million, small finger by the mouth, $5.5 billion of GAAP net income in 2021. Our accumulated.
They made $5 billion in 2021. That's cool.
Profitability since the inception of the company became positive, which I think makes us a real company at this point.
Yes,
this
sir.
is a critical milestone for the company. So after an exceptional year, we shift our focus to the future. Texas and Berlin. So we've begun production at both Texas and Berlin. We started that last quarter. But that's not the most important thing.
They began production in Texas and Berlin last quarter. So that's good. That means in a very short time, there's every likelihood that these factories will actually start producing cars to be delivered, and which those numbers will land in the company's bottom line, both the top and the bottom. And this is like 2 huge factories that they put in together here. Really, really good information there.
We're focused more on when to get to volume production, and when can we deliver cars to customers. But I think it is worth noting that we and as the internet has observed, we've been making quite a few cars in Texas and Berlin.
Yeah.
So in Boston and Berlin. So in Texas, we're building the Model Ys with the structural battery pack and the 4680 cells.
Nice. The structural battery pack is Tesla's new way of designing vehicles. This is basically when the battery is actually part of the car. That's their new way of designing vehicle. I mean, they must be so confident in the design that the car is gonna last a long time. The battery is gonna last a long time. So that's why they're doing it that way. It's gonna save them a lot of money. It will be easier for them to produce it. You know, the design iterations that they're having in those two factories is gonna make their product better, cheaper over time, and they can produce more of it, which means they're probably gonna get more demand, and they're gonna be able to sell more as well. Which that means that it's gonna make them more money.
And we will start delivering after final certification of the vehicle, which should be fairly soon.
Sure.
Capacity expansion will continue through maximizing output of each factory and building new factories in new locations in the future.
Yes, sir.
We're not.
That is what we want to hear. Listen, the other two factories, they haven't even ramped up yet. They're already thinking about, okay, where's the next spot? But like I said one time, I heard in one of Elon's interview, he said they really need about 100 factories, 100 gigafactory to convert the world into sustainable energy. You know, both using both transport and home energy storage. That is going to be massive in the future. And I think this man is going to get it done. He has the focus, he has the ability, he has the drive, he knows how to convince people to come and work for him. Look at me, what I'm doing on the internet. Bringing what he's saying to the masses in the ways that I understand. And, you know, I hope he's impacting people, you know. So it's been able to convince me to invest my money into what he's doing. And I'm so impressed. I'm like, I have to even come on the internet and tell as many people as I can about this opportunity. Always not financial advice. You got to read between the lines and do stuff like this. Listen to earnings call. So yeah, those are good news so far.
Ready to announce any new locations on this call, but we will through 2022 look at new locations.
Nice.
And probably be able to announce new locations towards the end of this year, right?
Good.
I expect. So in 2022, supply chain will continue to be the fundamental limiter of output across all factories.
Okay.
So the chip shortage, while better than last year, is still an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's there are multiple supply chain challenges.
Okay.
Last year was difficult to predict, and hopefully this year will be smooth sailing. That you know, I'm not sure what you do for an encore to 2021, 2020.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we do expect significant growth in 2022 over 2021.
Mind you, they delivered 900,000, like almost 1 million vehicles in 2021. So if he's saying significant growth, let's just say, like the team and Elon has been saying before, they're gonna grow 50% every year. So they are gonna deliver close to 2 million vehicles this year, and they say they want to get to a point where they have a cruising speed of production of 20 million vehicles. That is a ton of future gains that is still to come for this company. And this year they're gonna do 2 million. That's what I'm targeting for them this year, that they're gonna do 2 million, and they're gonna get to 20 million maybe the next 10 years or even 15 years, because they're doing other things like self-driving and robo-taxi. So You know, the future is still really, really bright. And the good thing is this is just starting.
You know, comfortably above 50%
Cool.
growth in 2022.
Cool.
Full self-driving. So over time, we think full self-driving will become the most important source of profitability for Tesla. It's, I mean, actually, if you run the numbers on robotaxis, it's kind of nutty. It's nutty good from a financial standpoint.
It only makes sense because even though most people cannot like think about how valuable this thing is going to be, but I can just see it happening. You know, being in the transportation business, I can see this happening. Like the way Uber and Lyft came so quickly and people got used to it so quickly. And at the same time, right, the world is getting used to sharing things. People are getting used to the idea of sharing things. You know, like Airbnb at first was probably, people were like, But now people are like, okay, I'll stay in Airbnb, right? People are used to the ideas of sharing things in the economy to be able to transact. You know, there's Turo. People put their cars on Turo. There's all these different platforms. There's one for cars. There's one for trucks. There's one for those moving homes. I forgot the name. You know, so the idea of sharing cars or robotaxi, I don't think is anything foreign to me, and it's something that I believe that they will be able to accomplish. And by them being able to do that, man, if Tesla takes control of all the Ubers in the world, they are going to make a lot of money. They probably wouldn't exist absolutely everywhere, but the huge part of the huge places that have big economies, they're going to exist there. And they're going to improve the economy because transportation will become easier. I mean, it will become cheaper and easier eventually. So in turn, that kind of big opportunity is going to be massive for a company like Tesla.
And I think we're completely confident at this point that it will be achieved. You know, my personal guess is that we'll achieve full self-driving this year. With at a safety level significantly greater than a person. So,
you know, Elon is a very forward-looking guy, and he pushed himself, he pushed the team, you know, because the people that work for him, they know that, listen, whatever this man is telling me to do, he can do it 100 times more than me. And there's nothing that he's telling me to do that he is not willing to do as well. I think that's a big thing that puts a huge credibility on the company. Now, he says it a lot that this year, and that's okay. It's okay to be optimistic. It's better to be optimistic than being a pessimist. People that are pessimistic, they never get anywhere. They just always there. No, I don't believe you can accomplish it. No, you can't get it done. No, that's impossible. How? Until they get it done, and then they'll be like, "Wow, you got it done." Nah, it's better to be an optimist. So if Elon is saying like it's gonna take a year, I would say maybe it's gonna take 2 years. Maybe it's gonna take 2.5 years. And for me as an investor, I'm cool with that. If they solve self-driving, oh my God, Tesla will be making trillions of dollars in income. Forget about this billions that they've been making. They will make trillions of dollars in income.
You know, the cars in the fleet essentially becoming self-driving via software update, I think might end up being the biggest increase in asset value of any asset class in history.
Possibly, because what if you have this car and you drive it to work, instead of the car just sitting in the parking lots waiting for you to finish work, you can just drive your car to work, set your car to go out and go do Uber for you, make some money for you while you are at work making money, and you program the car, hey, be back an hour before we go home. You take the car back home, you charge it, you be like, go and do Uber all night. Be back in the morning. You know, like I could see that happening in the future. So what he's talking about right now, the car could easily be worth maybe $200,000 a year in income. So if you have something that's making you $200,000 a year in income, what really should be the value of that thing? How much should you pay for it? You know? So these cars are going to be extremely valuable in the near future. I want to get one so badly, but I don't have enough stock. I got to get enough Tesla stock for me to be able to justify buying one.
We shall see. It will also have a profound impact on improving safety and on accelerating the world towards sustainable energy through vastly better asset utilization. Let's see. So on the product roadmap front, there's quite a lot to talk about. I'm not going to go through every sort of thing that we're working on because I think a lot of them deserve product launches of their own, as opposed to a few minutes on an earnings call. So I'll talk kind of at a high level.
Overview.
Yeah, mostly at a high level. The fundamental focus of Tesla this year is scaling output. Both last year and this year, if we were to introduce new vehicles, our total vehicle output would decrease. This is a very important point that I think a lot of people do not understand.
I agree with him on that. I agree with him because the problem is the cars that they have right now, they having problems actually delivering those cars. Like people are having to wait 6 months, 5-6 months to get their car, and they're willing to wait. They're willing to wait. Like me now, if I was to get a Tesla, I'll probably get it for business to put on Turo. But if I was to get one, I would probably still have to wait 6 months to get one. So they need to fix that first, so people won't wait 6 months. Maybe people will wait like 2 weeks, or maybe they will wait, maybe they'll wait a month and a half before they get a car, not 6 months. So once they fix that, I think they can say, okay, we are at a bigger scale now. Let's bring out a new product. It makes sense. It makes logical sense to do that.
Last year, we spent a lot of engineering and management resources solving supply chain issues, rewriting code, changing out chips, reducing the number of chips we need. That was chip drama central, and that was not the only supply chain issue. So there was just hundreds of things, and as a result, we were able to grow almost 90% while I believe almost every other manufacturer contracted last year.
Yeah.
So
they grew 90%. That is very true. And a lot of other car dealership, they had to shut down plants. That is so true.
That's a good result. But if we had introduced, say, a new car last year, our total vehicle output would have been the same because of the constraints, the chips constraints particularly. So if we'd actually introduced an additional product, that would then require a bunch of attention and resources on that increased complexity of the additional product, resulting in fewer vehicles actually being delivered.
It makes sense.
And the same is true of this year.
Because they need to, if they did something like that, that means they will take attention away from all their other things. And at the same time, the other things that they need to do is it's still a lot, you know. They first of all need to solve the problem of 6 months. People cannot be waiting for 6 months to get their car, you know. A lot of things can happen in 6 months. Not that I don't think most people would change their mind. People want to get the car, you know, but like it's still a long time. So I agree with them. They should just focus on what they have going on right now, optimize it. They have 2 new factories that they need to optimize. They have a lot of things going on. So they should focus on those, get those things going before, you know, doing other things. Because you have got to take away brains from one side and put it on the other side. That's the problem here.
So we will not be introducing new vehicle models this year. It would not make any sense.
Okay, that's cool.
So we will still be parts constrained. We will, however, do a lot of engineering and tooling and whatnot to create those vehicles, the Cybertruck, Semi, Roadster, Optimus.
Let's go.
And be ready to bring those to production, hopefully next year. That is most likely. But like I said, it is dependent on, are we able to produce more cars or fewer cars? And
it's okay. I think it's better to produce more cars. Produce more cars of what you're doing right now. So that way, you can obviously make more money right now. And in the future, you can bring more products to market. You know, that is okay.
In terms of priority of products, I think I think that actually the most important product development we're doing this year is actually the Optimus humanoid robot.
Let's go. Listen, this bot, man, is coming for your job, man. It's coming. Yo, like Elon's vision, man. Like, you gotta just respect the vision that the man has, man. You know, building self-driving cars. Now he's building Cybertruck. Cybertruck is definitely going to Mars, right? Now it's gonna work on the Optimus bot. What is that gonna do? Maybe those bots will replace a huge part of the factory, and that means the people that work in those factories right now, they might get a promotion. Because if you work for Tesla, no matter what you do, even if it's like the low end job, you're still gonna learn something that will elevate you as a person, elevate your skills, because you are amongst talented people. You're going to hear them talking about some things. You're going to be able to pick up some things. So if those bots are working at a factory, guess what? Those bots too are probably going to go to Mars. And Elon is working on Starlink, which means it wants the internet on Earth. That would probably be the internet on Mars. You have the bot that's... Listen, the man is working on... His brain is on a higher level, man. This is evidence of it. The only thing with this with Elon is you got to read between the lines. You got to read between the lines to be able to tell, okay, this is what I think the man is doing. So this is where I'm going to place my money. And, you know, hopefully all his plans come through, because so far, if you go and read all his past master plans, and he has 2 so far, I actually need to do a video on those master plan actually. Everything that he's talked about has happened so far. It's literally genius.
This, I think, has the potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time.
That's the bot.
If you think about the economy, it is the foundation of the economy is labor. Capital equipment is distilled labor.
Sure.
So what happens if you don't actually have a labor shortage? I'm not sure what an economy even means at that point.
That means when you don't have to work, you know, when you don't have any labor shortage. So that means if there's I mean, goods will get cheaper if there's no labor shortage. Because these robots, they don't sleep. They can work 24/7. They don't need time off. They don't get sick. You just have to come and fix them. Mad.
That's what Optimus is about. So, very important.
I think so too.
Let's see, Drew, do you want to talk about the 4680 program?
Sure.
Or is this good right the right time?
Sure. Yeah.
So the 4680 program is the battery. Is the new battery form that Tesla have in their cars. So those battery would be like the next level when it comes to battery technology, and will take Tesla to the next stage of their development.
Sure. So throughout 2021, we focused on growing cell supply alongside our in-house 4680 effort to provide us flexibility and insurance as we attempt to grow as fast as possible. As we sit today, cells from suppliers is actually sort of exceeds our other factory limiting constraints that you mentioned, Elon, in 2022. Or to say differently, 4680 cells are not a constraint to our 2022 volume plans based on the information we have. But we are making meaningful progress up the ramp curve in Cato. We're building 4680 structural packs every day, which are being assembled into vehicles in Texas. I was driving one yesterday and the day before.
Nice.
And we believe our first...
That is those cars that are being made in Texas with the new battery form. So the new battery technology that Tesla have developed that they're working on, they're actually putting it to work in a new in their new factory in Texas. Amazing.
4680 vehicles will be delivered this quarter. Our focus on...
So they're gonna start delivering the Model Y with 4680 this quarter, and in this quarter we have February, March left.
The cell, the pack, and the vehicles here is driving yield, quality, and cost to ensure we're ready for larger volumes this year as we ramp and next year. And the 4680 and pack tool installations here at Giga Austin are progressing well, with some areas producing first parts, and the internet has also noticed that.
Cool.
I was touring the cell factory here yesterday. I'm super pumped. It's like a really exciting accomplishment for us to bring everything into one awesome factory here in Texas.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And just to repeat Drew's point, we still expect to be part or primarily chip limited this year. So that's the thing. That's actually the driver. And that chip limitation should alleviate next year, and then probably we transition into a cell limitation, battery cell. It's total gigawatt hours of cell limitation, which is when the 4680 will become very important.
Agreed.
So very interesting. Basically, they are gonna ramp up the 4680 cell. They're gonna start making that, putting that in vehicles this year. And the last part there, it says they still have the chip shortage, but it's gonna alleviate this year into next year, and things should get back to normal pretty soon. So that's cool. That's some information that I didn't know about before. So that is pretty cool. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you've learned something in today's video. There's some pretty good information that we just heard from the call. They're ramping up their factory. They're not going to overload themselves with a bunch of things to do. They're going to focus on the things that they're doing right now, get that going, get their factories going. They're going to start looking at a new location that they're going to start working on. And remember the last project that they took on when it comes to the factory, they took on Berlin and they took on Austin in Texas. So they're going to start looking at new factory at some point this year, and maybe even decide on where the factory will be this year, which means next year they'll probably start breaking grounds, or the next 2 years. Another 2 years from now, probably 2 years to 2.5 years, another factory will be up. So this is breakneck speed. They're doing their thing. And, you know, the other thing there is saying that they're still going to be tooling. They're going to be working on their semi-truck, the Cybertruck, the Roadster, all the current programs that they have, like the car programs, the vehicles that they're trying to get to the market. They're going to be working on that, trying to get those to the market. So they're not going to introduce any more new vehicle this year, which I think is okay. What's 12 months to stay focused on the things that you're doing, just to make sure that you can get that thing working and out the door, going to customers, producing value, giving value to the world. He said they're going to focus on FSD. Like this year, FSD is going to be a thing. You know, I'm giving that maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, tops 3 years, whenever that happens. Elon is an optimist. He likes to shoot for the stars and get to the moon or shoot for Mars, you know, so that's the kind of person he is. So realistically, as an investor, you got to factor that in, like, oh, hey, look, this other thing that they're doing, Elon said a year. I'm thinking maybe a year and a half, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, but that's okay. Let them take their time, get it right. This is a thing that's going to make a lot of money and it's going to provide a lot of value to the world. So that's important there, and that's okay. So what else did he talk about? He talked about chip shortage, that the chip shortage is, they're starting to get, by the end of this year, they should get a hang of things, and should get better towards next year. So that's a good news. And the last one that he talked about, he talked about Optimus bot that, you know, there could potentially be no limits to the economy. What if there's no labor shortage? And Tesla, can you imagine if Tesla was to provide a workforce for like a ton of companies all over the world, producing like $60,000-$70,000 worth of value. Let's say a robot can be working in a farm, picking apples, picking fruits from the farms. A robot can be working in the factory. The Optimus bot can work in so many places. Now it's gonna displace a lot of jobs, but those people can learn how to fix the robot if something needs to be fixed. So it's gonna create another type of job, I think, you know. So, but we'll see. But us as a Tesla investor, you don't really have to worry about that. If you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, in his 4 quadrants, he said the best place to be as an individual, the best place to be is to be a business owner and an investor. You got to own your own business and be an investor at the same time. So as an investor in Tesla, you know, I'm planning on investing a lot of money into this company. So that way, once the company is growing and they're meeting their targets and they're meeting their growth, my investment will grow as well. So that is the plan there. But yeah, this segment has been very, very impactful. Lots of great information. Hope you find value in it. If you do, please subscribe to the channel. I'm relatively new on YouTube, and I'm trying to get my channel to 1,000 subs so I can get monetized this year. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. So yeah, until next time, see you later. Love you all. Bye.